beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey, a margarita, and a Bloody Mary.
Homeboy tripping, he ain't know I got a gun. When it come to pop, man, we do shit for fun. You ain't got one, brother, you better run. Now I'm in the back getting head from my huns. While she going down, I break it off what I done. Smoking on my blunt, saying she ain't having fun. Bitch, give it back then, you don't need none. Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Was a good one. Welcome back, everybody. It's the boys from Illinois, the Pubtime podcast. Almost died. That was good. I try not to shake that bitch up either. Tonight we got special guests as well. My man Ryan Leskis from Paign Productions. How are you doing?
Fantastic, fellas. Thanks for having me on, man. Right up the road.
Yeah.
That's right.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah, this is a local flavor. Yeah, we were just talking about some of that before we get on here about the U of I and fan bases, the Bears, and how crazy everybody is.
Oh man, yeah. I'm stuck in a murky mess. With my kids now, I've given them the green light, dude. I don't know if it was the same for you guys growing up, but like I rooted for the teams my dad rooted for, man. Like he was literally religious with it. Like he didn't go to church with us on Sunday at 11:30 because the Bears played at noon. All that. So it was like Bears, Illini, Bulls, Cubs. Like it was all Illinois, all locked in there. And so that was like ingrained. And now I'm just like, you know what? Spread your wings, kids, man. Go ahead. Root whoever you want to. You may come back home again. But, you know, have fun.
No, that's awesome.
Our fan base is brutal.
Right. I mean, it wasn't like ingrained in me, I wouldn't say, at a young age. I mean, like we talked about it. I knew my dad was a Bears fan.
Hold up.
Cubs fan.
Where'd you get the Bradley flag? Let's be honest.
Oh, I mean, yes, Bradley, yes, of course. I mean, but I'm talking about like pro sports, I guess. So, you know, Bears and the Cubs primarily. And then obviously every kid in Illinois was a Bulls fan in the 90s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, it wasn't ingrained in me so much from that side of things. And yeah, I think that you do kind of let your kids like figure it out. I mean, sure, you kind of play, dress up a little bit when they're younger, you know, freaking, hey, you're a Cubs fan today, this fan today. But no, I think that's cool, man. Let them make their own decisions.
Oh, they're full bandwagoners now. Although I will say my youngest isn't technically a bandwagoner because they've been dying to play Madden. You know, they're at school. Kids talking about Madden. But we got like Nintendo products. We got a Switch, which doesn't really carry that. So I found an old 2013 Madden game that we put on the Wii. And I'm like, you guys, let's have fun with it. And they got like, you know, a very easy kid-friendly level where it's like one button to do a play and the whole deal. And there's picking. And my oldest wants to be the Jets. He kind of likes the new school Jets with Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, remember, this is 2013. So you're stuck with Sean Green, but, you know, all right, I'm not getting too involved. And then my youngest is like, hey, man, I kind of think these Eagles seem cool. So he plays with them, and they start playing each other. And my youngest son has Mike Vick, Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy. Like, he is just housing the shit out of his older brother. And has been deemed an Eagles fan ever since then. And realized this year, like, oh, man, yeah, my Eagles are doing good. I'm like, yeah, okay.
No, that's hilarious, man. That's a blast. And it's funny how kids will cling to weird things like a team right. for just a strange reason. Even like, I mean, I could see there's times like I'll be watching like a Notre Dame game with my daughter. She's 6, and like she's into Notre Dame because that's what we've kind of talk about around here, but like she's like, oh, the other team has pretty jerseys, it's like, oh god, now she's exactly. A USC fan. Come on now, like
right. 100%, dude. They're like they cheer for Illinois, and then all of a sudden, my son's like, Oregon's uniforms are so dope. I'm like, oh, well, awesome.
Oh, here we go.
Awesome. Like, I'm like, let me tell you about film night. And
Theirs might be the
There we go.
best in all the sports. I mean, it ain't
Oh,
just
yeah.
college football.
because they can make one up specifically for one game. Like, oh, we're gonna do a full rebrand for like Saturday.
Yeah,
Like,
no
it's
one
nuts.
else
It's
has
nuts.
that. Yeah, you're right. No one
No
else,
one
really
else has that kind
ability.
of that traction.
No, that's pretty wild. So kind of talking to you here, say rebrand, and it makes me think of we talked a lot when you came on here a couple weeks ago about pro wrestling and how sometimes, you know, I've watched some documentaries recently and you see some of these superstars that go through rebrands over time. And to bring this home, we talked about pro tag teams and maybe going through here a little 5 for 5. I guess we'll do it draft style, go around the horn, talk about top pro wrestling tag teams, 5 rounds, I suppose, in this case. Who's got the number 1 pick?
We're gonna give it to the guest, man.
Oh wow. Oh man, so much pressure now, dude.
Number 1 overall, man. That's hard.
Oh, holy cow. I didn't really all right, I gotta take the Road Warriors, man. Like that's
Yep, love it.
those are my guys. I gotta go there. I was trying to, should I go prolific or should I go personal favorite? But I gotta go the Road Warriors.
You might have took
man.
the best team there is. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it is
Legion
kind
of
of a
Doom.
combo of two, but I don't want to give away any other
Yeah.
picks.
I got you.
But like, there's some that have carried more weight as far of how long they've held the title, or like, you know. But Animal Hawk, the shoulder pads with the spikes, like the face makeup, everything about it to me was just like, this is everything I want everything to be. It was just, it felt so badass to me as a kid watching it. So I got
best
badass.
They had the best entrance ever, and we talked. You ever talk to the guys from TBR over in England?
No. Tallboy, no, I haven't.
So
They're in our chat and stuff, but like I've never like engaged with them.
Bean said he was at Wembley Stadium in '93 when they had SummerSlam.
Oh shit!
The Road Warriors and Paul Ellering come down on like Fat Boys. They got chrome fucking shoulder pads. I mean, in that place when they came through there on bikes, you know what I mean? That fucking place just erupts,
my god,
man.
dude, that's sick, dude. That is sick.
So like I said, you may have got the 1v1. I mean, that might.
I mean, like again, it's kind
so.
of.
I think so.
You know, it depends on how you want to score. You know, that's the pressure of being first pick, man. Like, you know, I got like 6 of them here where I guarantee you there's somebody's personal favorites or someone will say they're the best ever, but that's the route I had to go.
All right, pal. Who you got? What
All right.
combination of Roddy Piper do you have?
I would no, actually, I'm gonna take the Steiner brothers, man.
Nice.
Rick and Scott Steiner, and a little soft spot there, obviously, because at least they impersonated real wrestlers, right?
The headgear.
So yeah, the headgear is a winner. So I'm gonna take the Steiner brothers. I mean, it was like this weird combination, and you know, wasn't Rick the one they always portrayed to be a little crazy?
Dogface Gremlin.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So no, I thought they were fantastic. That's the one, like, from a, you know, really in the mid 90s, like full WWE, WCW battle. They were right in the middle of it. And yeah, man, Steiners all day.
All right, this makes mine easy then. Maybe they might be the most decorated.
Right.
And that's Team 3D, the Dudley Boys.
Oh, nice.
Probably one of the greatest.
Get the table.
They should have never worked together. You know what I mean? So whoever's idea it was, hey, I'm going to take you and you, but I'm going to pretend like you're a hillbilly and you guys are brothers. Nobody knows the difference.
Right. Brilliant.
It just worked out great. But yes, get the tables. Team 3D.
Nice. All right. It's so funny because I'm like rolling through a list just to like keep some of them in my mind, you know.
Well, now are
And-
we doing this snake style or
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
back to
So,
me?
well, no,
All right,
no,
so
you go
back to
next. We're
hackers.
round. No, we'll go
No,
round
I
the
just
horn.
want to plan my shit.
No,
man.
we're
No,
good.
you're
So,
good.
no, we're around the horn, so you're good there.
All right, now it's tough. I feel like I should take a heavy hitter. So I got a couple more under the radar ones that I'm kind of thinking of here. So I'm gonna take. I still have a lot of TLC DVDs in my house, so I gotta take the Hardy Boys, man. I do. Jeff and Matt Hardy.
All right.
When you talk about the Dudleys, like their matches together and everything about the acrobatics, yeah, I'm going there, man. Some of the biggest ring pops I ever heard when they came back and reunited together after Matt went off and did his whole delete thing and all that, and nobody ever thought it was ever going to happen again, and then it happened again. That was one of the biggest pops I ever heard in the arena. So yeah, going Hardy Boys.
There we go. So,
Two around the crickets. I guess it's
sorry,
not
no,
else.
sorry. I figured
It's all
Hackers
good.
coming in there, man. No, Hardy
It's all good.
Boys off
It's
the
all good.
board.
Off the board.
It's all
Next.
good. I'll
Next.
take it. I got least
Hey,
less favorite ones than
You were
that.
spot on with the first one. Second one, fucking it.
It's all
right.
right.
Although like I was always a face guy, not a heel guy when it came to wrestling, and I'm awaiting Hackers.
Yeah, I
Jokey
know.
probably has teed up for that one. Anyways,
$50 up front and not in the face guy.
so I didn't like these guys when they came in, but you can't deny their star power, and especially at the time it happened. And so I'm taking the outsiders, man. Hall and Nash.
Of course.
That's
Of
actually that was much better than your first choice. Probably should have
Wolfpack.
started there.
All right, what you got?
The bad guys is arguably my favorite wrestler of
I
all
got
the
some-
time.
I got some good ones. I don't know where I want to go, but I'm gonna go Money Incorporated. Ted DiBiase, Irwin R. Shyster.
Our shyster.
Love it. That's like as a tag team, that's probably the best two people you could ever put together in the name business.
And was Virgil still hanging out back then too?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Virgil was still around carrying
carrying the belt and
briefcases.
shit. Yeah,
Sweet.
I respect that, dude. A lot of suspenders, a lot of
Yeah.
kicking kids out of pools.
love it.
All right, man. If it's coming back to
go.
me, I'm gonna
is.
go off list here a little bit too. When I was younger, these guys in their camouflage and I don't know what country
Oh,
they're
yeah.
from, what they were
New
doing,
Zealand.
licking each other's heads, man. I'm taking
Yeah.
the bushwhackers, baby.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's a good
You
one.
remember Jerome?
Yeah.
It's like their manager. That guy come out with like half his clothes tucked in, his pant leg ripped off. Yeah, they were wild as hell.
Dude, like it was crazy. Like again, licking each other's heads. And they were also known as the sheep herders for a while. Like what? That's exactly going the vision of what they were supposed to be, but they did like headbutts and like dual hand stomach punches and like a lot of like literal Kiwi shit. Like if you ever hung out with some Kiwis, and I'm not trying to for all of our Kiwi listeners out there, you guys are wild.
There are dozens.
Right, but they're all like rugby players, and they do like crazy shit and like run through trees, and it's wild business too. But Butch and Luke, again, great effing names for their Butch and Luke, the Bushwhackers. I gotta have them on my
Fantastic.
squad. I gotta have them on my squad.
Fuck yeah. I feel like I just watched a documentary on the Bushwhackers. I'm fucking pumped. All right. So I'm going to take this was one of the most, when I really kind of came into pro wrestling, this was one that really stuck out to me a lot. And I'm kind of surprised no one said him yet. Harlem Heat. Booker T.
Oh, dang. I was
Ray,
saving
man.
it.
Harlem
I was saving
Heat.
it. Nice.
No, that was especially, early WCW days, man. They were top dogs for a long time on the tag team roster. And then what? Booker T went on to kind of go off on his own eventually.
Yeah,
He's a
Stevie
Hall of
Ray
Famer now.
probably jacked up in some hotel somewhere right now.
Sadly, probably true.
Don't nobody know what happened to him. All right,
Stevie-
I'm digging way into the bag on this one. Unfortunately, I never really got to see these guys, but I'm going Michael P.S. Hayes and the Fabulous Freebirds. Because they said those guys would get so much heat in some of those towns, like they'd get followed around by the police. People threatened to shoot them all the time because they'd come up north rocking the Stars and Bars and, you know, talking about Dixie and this and that. And I guess people are like fucking ready to kill them. And PSA is smooth on the microphone.
Man, yeah, that is before my time, man. I wasn't on my radar. I like that pick a lot, dude. Because I was hoping you weren't going to stake mine, because mine's going back a little bit as well.
But I think they're a big one. You know, tag teams, the Road Warriors, fuck, they never really said anything. You know what I mean? They needed a mouthpiece, someone to talk for them. Whereas Michael P.S. Hayes, Terry Gordy, and I can't remember the third guy, all decent talkers, had a lot of charisma, which I don't think you probably got a whole bunch back in the day.
No, no. They're still doing basics. All right, man. Back to me. This is number 4. All right, I gotta dig deep too, because now I know your Harlem Heat was high on my list. All right, I'm going way back. I'm pulling the way back machine out as well. I'm going with Alpha and Sika. I'm going with the Wild Samoans, dude.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, baby. That was some.
See that big ass go flying, man, for that splash.
I was still in the age where I thought this was real. When I watched this, I'm like, oh man, they brought some straight up crazy motherfuckers on TV now. These guys are just, nobody can even control them. Nobody can control them, man. Like, yeah, it blew my mind, dude. And I love them to this day, dude.
So
with the wild beard and the hair that all seem like one cylindrical device, dude. Like they were hairy but wild and yeah, Wild Samoans.
That is amazing.
You kind of have a Wild Samoan beard going, man.
A little bit
cylindrical.
You kind of do a little bit
cylindrical.
It is getting cylindrical.
So imagine this: like, take all these tag team names, and now you have to open a strip club and name it one of these tag team names. So what do you choose? Wild Samoans, Harlem Heat. Like,
yeah, I would go to both of them.
The Dudley Boys. Dudley Boys is probably out.
That's I'm taking that one off the list.
A lot of dauber in that place.
Almost as bad as Steiner Brothers.
Yeah.
I ain't seen no Jewish strippers. I'd be down though. Shit. It's a schmeckle.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we offended both of our listeners.
It's good. What you got, pal? Number 4.
All right. This is not like a traditional tag team, but it was a good one, a powerful one from like I think, power perspective, and that is the Undertaker and Kane, man. I think as far as the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker, Kane,
absolutely,
just 2 like larger than life. You put those guys against the Road Warriors. You know what I mean? Like, what's that look like?
Road Warriors win, but yes, you get a lot more people to watch. I know what you're saying.
It made sense, but I do have a little aversion from like, and if someone drafts them or whatever coming up, but like when they just make tag teams, like some of these people came in as tag teams and their whole shtick is tag teams, and like they don't really even go solo because of their tag teams, and so when they are solo and then they bring them together. At least, you know, in this case, they were brothers. It made sense. Like that's something most wrestling fans always wanted to happen as they built the storyline. But yeah, I dig it.
Well, and sort of same with, and this is one that would be maybe draftable, is almost the same as what they did with Edge and Christian, right?
But
I mean,
yeah,
what are you
yeah.
doing? What are you
same
doing
type
here?
of deal. Oh, what, is he on? They on
No,
your
it
list?
ain't on my list.
Full
no.
brood, dude. Full brood.
Gotta have Gangrel. Shit.
Yeah, that was a sick entrance, though. You know, if I could just give like
He
points for
still
the
rocks
entrance.
it. He still rocks it.
He does.
Some places, some of them indie places, it's a little shoddy, but
It's
yeah,
like-
your ass comes straight up out the floor drinking blood and doing rituals and shit. Fuck yeah.
I was
Lasted
more
like
going
12 years
for
old.
like I don't think it'll get drafted, but like the Rock and Sock connection, man. Like that shit to me is not a
Right.
tag. It's not
No,
a tag
no.
team. It was just like a one-off gimmick so we could figure out a way to get these two extremely popular people together.
It was a Saturday Night Live skit, is what it was.
Yeah.
All right, my number 4. I love big boys, and I love big boys that can move. And I'm taking the Natural Disasters.
Oh,
Jake and Typhoon. You
Yeah.
got 700-800 pounds of men. You know what I mean? Like massive dudes. But as a kid, I loved watching those guys.
That's beautiful, dude.
Because Tugboat turns. He turns on somebody. I can't remember who his tag team partner was at the time. And he
Tugboat?
comes-
Wasn't there a third?
That's
Wasn't there
who
a third?
Typhoon was.
Okay.
And then he comes
Then
back.
that
Jimmy
confused me
Hart's
then. Okay.
Jimmy Hart's the manager, and he comes out as Typhoon. You got Earthquake, the Natural Disasters. It was,
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
right after Jake the Snake had his little run with Earthquake, so they needed something to do with him. He became a tag team partner.
Nice.
But they were the shit. I love those guys together.
Hell yeah, man. It was just that was the age of big dudes, though. Like that
Oh,
was
yeah,
when
Bam
like
Bam
Yoki-
Bigelow.
You guys are all
Yoko
doing it. I'm talking about the Nasty Boys. I mean, you had some big ass tag teams.
One Man Gang.
You had
Yeah.
the Warlord and Hercules, the Powers of Pain. I mean, they were all fucking massive.
Ah, shit.
What do we have?
That's
One more round.
One left, yeah. I got a good
One
one too.
left.
This
I'll have to dig deep.
mine's
Right.
gangster. I got one down here. It's
Well,
a good
that's
one.
kind of the thing. I kind of want to say one just because it needs to be mentioned, but it's not great. But I do like showmanship, so I'm having a hard time because I have a hard time with my last pick almost every time, dude. Because there's like things I feel I should take because it makes the most sense, but then there's like, this is for me. This is gonna hurt.
We're just like let you suffer, like suffer.
I'm
this time.
gonna go ahead and do like it needs to be picked. I'm gonna
Take it.
I'm gonna take the Heart Foundation. I'm just going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
I got
version?
you.
The Ridge?
Yeah, the
Brett and
original.
Anvil? Yeah.
Brett and Anvil, definitely.
Yeah.
Anvil was my dude, man. Like, you know, he was the lesser known. I liked that his goatee looked like a spike, and I felt like he was the Anvil. I kind of fell off on Brett as he got older and older and went solo, but like at the time when they had like the pink and the black and the jumpsuits and Jimmy Hart and all that kind of shit, dude, like I was about it, man. I dug it.
We're going to talk about Jimmy Hart at the end of this because most of these tag teams we're listing off, they ain't nobody without Jimmy Hart.
So what about?
I ain't playing. He's the best manager probably ever of anybody.
Yep.
That guy's good for everybody.
So this one kind of similar context, and this might be a cop out for me, but the Four Horsemen. The Four Horsemen, right? Any iteration of the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
What's your iteration then? You
Yeah,
pick
you
two
got to
of
pick
them.
Well,
only
Rick,
two.
I mean, right
'Cause
now,
I
Ric
got a
Flair and
favorite
Arn
Four
Anderson
Horsemen.
would be
It's
mine
same-
too.
Four Horsemen.
Ric
Shit.
Flair and Arn Anderson would be my two.
What about
And-
Arn and
and no.
Ole Anderson? They used to
That's a
get
good
down.
one too.
Brain busters.
I mean, but
Yes,
we
I
talked
love
about
the
it. I'm
Four
just throwing them
Horsemen.
out there. Four
If it
Horsemen,
was
whatever.
stables,
Like I said, it's
if
kind
we're
of a
doing
cop out.
stables, that's my one.
Oh, for
That'd be
sure,
my
it's
one.
the number one stable.
right.
Or I mean,
What?
probably more popular though.
No Barry Windham?
Would have been the NWO as a stable. I don't know if you consider them stable. They kind of were, right?
No.
Well, yeah. Well,
take
I
the
mean,
Horsemen.
I'm
They
Wolfpack.
started
though,
it.
man.
Right.
I'm Team Wolfpack.
I'm LWO, Latino World Order.
All right. So what you got for us, Hack?
Oh, my 5, bud. My one was the Dudley Boys. All right. I used to have a huge boner for ECW. I went and watched a couple of their house shows, and you catch them like at an exhibit hall at the Civic Center or something. Your ass is like in the show. You know what I mean? There ain't 5,000 people there. They're coming out to see you. Okay. And one of the coolest tag team matches I ever watched was the Dudley Boys versus Public Enemy. My boy Flyboy Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge. And it was probably one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. 35 tables. More tables were broken than people were there watching. It was the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. So I'm taking Public Enemy.
Fantastic, dude.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Flyboy Rocco Rock. Shit. If you don't know, educate yourself.
No, it was always crazy though. Like you talked about made up tag teams. I remember, plenty of times watching
Owen Hart and Coco Beware.
whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd just be a random, like whether it was Raw or Nitro, like
right.
you're
It's
watching
like,
it.
we need to
Here
get
comes
them
like
out
two
there.
random guys together
Right.
as a tag team, and it was always like two random ass guys against an established tag team. That's why I always thought it was kind of goofy.
No, it's just like we got these guys, but they're not really. We haven't scripted them a beef with anybody else, so we're gonna like even recently, it's like we're gonna take Randy Orton and we're gonna match him with that hippie dude. I can't even remember. It's like Arcade. Oh man, Arcade Bro
Riddle
is what they call him.
I
or
don't even
whatever.
watch anymore.
I play the video game on my phone. That's the only reason I know this stuff. I have this stupid little game I play on my phone just so I can,
I play that same one, Breaking Gems.
Yeah. We've talked about it, man.
Yeah.
The WWE superstars.
Yeah.
But I like to get like all my old school players, Tom Riddle or whatever his name is, Riddle, and it's just like, boom, we're just gonna put you guys together for now, and then if it gets a little pop, they're like, oh, okay, let's run with it. But yeah. One of the ones I almost put on my list, I was battling with. Do you guys remember the Killer Bees?
Dusty Rhodes.
No, they were like these dudes, and they had the masks on. They were kind of like luchadors, and they were the Killer Bees, and like their whole thing was like they'd switch places because nobody could tell one from the other.
The mask. Yeah.
So, like,
so there's 3 of them.
Yeah, so
And they
like one would
rotate.
always be under
Fresh
the
guy.
apron. One would always be under the apron, ready to pop up when one got tossed out of the ring from getting the shit kicked out of them, and then the other one would go under the apron, and the other one would come out, and then they'd be ready to pin them, and then the other one would kick the shit out of them, and yeah.
If we're here rubbing nostalgic boners, just know
Always.
that Sting wrestled the Great Muta last night.
Whoa.
38 years later or something from the last time they fucking hooked up. They wrestled at like Halloween Havoc in 1980, whatever.
Right.
They wrestled last night. Great Muta's getting ready to retire. And like of all time, he might be one of my favorites.
Muta.
Who is that? Muta?
Man,
I
I'm-
honestly don't know who
Great
that
Muta.
is.
Oh wow, dude.
Well,
I've
yes,
heard
you
it.
would. The Poison Mist,
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the
Okay.
green-
Okay.
that's
I
him.
gotcha. Yep.
but he has like an alternate character. He was like the first person to ever do that. Like when he'd wrestle in Japan, straight dude, no makeup, no nothing. When he turns into the Great Muta, totally different person. Acts different, walks different. Like,
Well, I mean,
Has been
Let's
doing
look
it
at-
for fucking almost 40 years, I guess now.
Well, I mean,
That's wild.
didn't Mick Foley enter the Royal Rumble as 3 different gimmicks one year?
Yeah, but I'm saying the Muda did it in the
But what do you
80s.
like? Yeah,
Like
right.
it was his idea.
I gotcha.
You see all these cats now, they try to do it where they flipped where there's somebody else, or Bray Wyatt's done a real nice job with it. He just stealing Muda's idea. That's what I'm saying.
That's beautiful, dude. I didn't even know that guy was still alive, man. Like,
Oh, he's alive, healthy. Fuck, he's healthier than all 3 of us, guaranteed. I've
Right.
seen him.
But
Cat looks good.
What's that say about his life, though, that he's, on a random Friday night when he's, however, 80 years old, he's got to
Wants
go
to
out
beat the piss out of somebody. That's
and
awesome.
do a pro
He's
wrestling
yeah.
match.
It was way
See,
better than Ric Flair
he's
did it, I promise.
passionate. He's passionate. That's what it tells me, man. Like, this guy, he found what he's good at and what he loves, and he's still gonna come after it. Nobody's begging him. Nobody's begging him to do this.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, some of these guys get pretty hard up, man. And it's like you see him, Jake the Snake was wrestling in high school.
I knew that name
in high
was
school
coming there.
gyms, man. Like he was wrestling in high school gyms to just get a few bucks to go out and get drunk. Like,
Yeah, man.
Snake is one of those guys. He's like the best that never was. He was so good at what he was good at, but could have been a much different story for that guy. He played a heel better than anybody, I think. I mean,
Oh,
on the microphone and shit, dude was good.
and he had the gimmick, dude. I mean,
he's not huge,
everything
not
about
whatever.
it.
He's just dangerous, and he played the character perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
and he had the DDT. He had the snake in the burlap bag. Like, I mean, everything about it was menacing and exciting, and like, that was the most docile snake anybody's ever seen in anybody's life.
Sure.
Like, he'd throw it on an opponent after he pinned it, the thing would like roll off, but everybody's like, "Oh!" They lose their goddamn mind because the snake came out of the bag. No pun. Because I'm sure his snake came out of the bag if he's done.
That interview Rogan does where he talks about when he hooks that cobra onto Randy Savage and they're in the locker room and shit. That's one of the best stories I've ever heard.
Well, because it actually bites them, doesn't it?
Well, he makes him do it cold in the locker room. Jake, he makes him roll his leg up and let the snake bite him because he thinks it's got poison in him. Jake's trying to kill him. So he's like, when I got in the ring, I paintbrushed the fuck out of that snake before I turned. He said snake was pissed and it latched onto him and he didn't take it off. Because he made him take one in the locker room, not all, you know what I mean? He's like, you get out there and get moving, you get adrenaline, you'll be fine. But he said he made him do it in the locker room. He's like, I was so pissed off by the time we got out there.
Jeez. Did you see there's I think it's Stone Cold has a podcast or something, and he recently, I think he had the Undertaker on because I keep seeing clips on TikTok, and Stone Cold asked him like, hey, like who did you go to for advice and stuff like that, especially on your gimmick? And he said Jake. He said Jake was his go-to guy as far as like how to play the part and carry himself and everything else, which I was like, wow, like you just don't think of him like that. Like you said, the best it never was, maybe in some ways, as far as his influence and what he was capable of, possibly.
Oh man, I don't know. Like I said, I think it'd be a little different story. He sticks around. Stone Cold maybe never happens, because he gets that one over on him. That's where the whole 316 starts, and it's just possibly a different world.
Is that what the movie The Wrestler is? The Wrestler based a little bit on him?
Oh, probably most
Jake
of those
the Snake.
guys.
That's a great fucking movie. But
it is.
When you're watching
Marissa
it,
Tomei is gorgeous.
Oh, she's gorgeous and everything, man. That you're delving into like one of my top 5 status right there. Marissa Tomei, Phoebe Cates, man, like you're getting into my wheelhouse. But yeah, I feel like when you see him going into those like gym battles and stuff, it's like, here in Central Illinois, especially when I worked in radio, we'd pump the hell out of like Red Tool is getting, like Jake the Snake at the
Right. At the Armory, Saturday night.
Right. Yeah. On the old defunct Air Force Base hangar. Capacity at 37 people, what? But that's a fantastic movie, and the whole time I was watching, I was like, "Man, are they, are they coming at Jake here a little bit, living out of his car?"
I think a lot of those guys end up that way, and it's really fucking unfortunate.
Well,
Right.
probably fewer now than did back then.
Yeah, life's
I'm
different.
assuming,
know,
because
for
I'm
sure,
assuming that it's. I bet it's on par with if you're in, I don't know, whatever, some other a pro sport. I'm sure there's something like a league minimum, whatever the equivalent of that would be in
right.
the
But once you're
WWE.
out of that, you're doing like what he's saying. You're doing house
Oh,
shows.
sure, but
You're
I
you're
mean,
in a fucking gym somewhere
well,
making maybe
if you
$150
made
that night.
well,
a hot meal.
if you made poor choices, yes, you may have put yourself in that position. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like, I don't think that, I don't think it's as easy to end up in that position today as it probably was back then, because a lot of those guys back then probably weren't making shit. Where now, with how big it's become and all the money that's wrapped up in it, even your
long-
run of the mill guy probably makes enough to, if he was smart about it, he would be fine.
How long you think before they maybe unionize somehow? They're gonna have some of the same issues football
That's a
players
good
see
point.
by
That's
the
a good
time
thought.
they're
Yeah.
60, 70 years old. I mean, those guys take just as many headshots.
But it's also conditioning. I mean, like back then, you were just kind of in the
Yeah, you're
80s. It was just
high on
like, I'm a
speed
big
and-
guy and I'm going to drink a case of beer on the weekend. Nowadays, these guys actually train. They actually do things. I mean, sure, they may still do HGH or, I'm not saying everything's natural, but in the 80s, nobody was, other than maybe Rick Rude, nobody was like cut up.
Right.
Everybody
They're
just looked
taking
like
better
a
care of their
big,
bodies
you're
these
right.
days.
They were a big
Yeah.
slab of meat doing lines of bumps in between each round and trying to keep up with Andre on a beer drinking contest on the bus till next town.
Yeah, no, they're definitely like healthier. You hear they
Right.
talk like Triple H, doesn't drink, never, doesn't want any part of it. Like, lives a pretty buttoned up lifestyle, I guess, as far as from a health perspective. And to
Yeah,
think about,
now
right. But I'm saying you stack that up. Well, they said even coming up, like they'd all be drinking and he just wasn't. Now, who knows? He might have been in other shit. I don't know. But like,
that's what I mean. A pill guy
Right,
for
right.
sure.
but
And his ass
Just-
put on 70, 80 pounds sometimes, like from one
Right.
time you see him to the next. So
well,
he
and
into something.
if you were to look back though, like, could you imagine being a guy like on the fucking circuit in 1980 that didn't drink?
Right.
You know,
Ultimate Warrior's coming at you. What the fuck are
you'd
you?
be like, what? Dude,
That
I'm like,
guy-
I'm hungover. Like, I
Right.
just threw
I
up
got a
in the
good-
back.
I got a
If you
good
hit me
feeling
too
Bob
hard, I'm gonna
Backlund
piss
wasn't getting all
myself,
fucked
like-
up.
I need an 8-ball. Oh, I'm wrestling on Ultimate Warrior tonight, please.
Oh my
I
God.
need it's coming at me, and he doesn't know what he's doing, and it's all over.
I need to be higher than he is. Basically,
exactly,
please.
exactly.
So, so what do you guys think are some of the best gimmicks? Like, I guess, yeah, some of the best or worst, just off the top of your head, best or worst gimmicks that you can
The
think
best.
of. Oh,
Like I
just
said, I think
good ones, bad
the
ones.
gimmick itself or the person that played it.
What? Okay, which one do you think is more important?
The person that plays it usually, but I think Ric Flair has had the Nature Boy once he took that name, and I think he's played that to the fucking T, man.
Right.
With like the limo riding, high
Limo-
flying,
jets-
Rolex wearing,
Yes,
like,
yes. Jet flying,
kiss
kiss
stealing.
stealing. Fuck.
yeah.
Him and Dusty Rhodes, like, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these older guys, just the way they played shit, we would have never watched it when we were kids if it wasn't for those guys. They teed it up. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
Like I said, when Ric Flair came out, he was cool and he was the fucking king because guys didn't talk like that. He made it entertaining. It really didn't matter that he was also a decent wrestler. He could talk. He'd bring people in. People hated him, and people loved him. That's what you need. So I think a lot of times it is the character. It's not always your, physical attributes, or it's the person, the villain, the hero, whoever it is.
I'm torn because I feel like one of the best gimmicks is I wasn't really a big fan of, but everybody loved, and it was right in the wheelhouse of the 90s, but Degeneration X was like, that was everything for that brand at the time, with the crotch chops and the we're gonna go invade WCW in a tank, and we're gonna do casually racist shit and like do whatever. Shawn Michaels, I was hit or miss with. I wasn't a big Triple H fan. Like, I couldn't really get into the people, and it kind of went overboard because it droned on so long. Like, I wasn't really a DX fan, but when you look back at it in the 90s and like what the hell was going on with like the grunge anarchy type of movement and all that kind of stuff, like their theme song, the color scheme with the green and the black and everything about it, DX was a smart move.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's what they had to do to counteract the whole NWO thing. That was WWE's
exactly
equivalent, and it was, though. I felt like DX was younger. You know what I mean? It was younger, a little more vibrant, a little more like, than the NWO was. The NWO was, you had Hogan, Hall, Nash. Those guys are getting, up there, older.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was definitely the right move at the right time, man. That was, I fucking hated them, because I told you I was always the face guy. Fuck those guys. Fuck whatever.
Right.
But no, you can't deny the value of the gimmick.
Right, because NWO, the biggest problem with the NWO is they got too big. Like, you can't have 30 fucking members, dude. Like, every match was stupid because like 6 people came in and like changed.
Right.
Like, come on, man. Can we just get through something without
I tell you what, though,
all 80 of you guys not coming out and fucking around with it? Like,
right. Well, this is like fucking profound, right? So imagine just being, let's say middle school, early high school age, and you're watching one of these shows and you're like, okay, like if there's any reflection of what the rest of my life is going to be like, it's that there are assholes like this in the world, and all their friends will do everything in their power to kick your fucking ass. So life's not fucking fair, because I remember sometimes watching those things and being like, why, when you're still under the delusion of it all, like, why do they let them do this? And it's like, well, hey, maybe this is just like a precursor to life. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
Hey, there's a lot of fucking assholes out there, so you just better get used to
it. Another really good gimmick, and I think this guy he hit it out of the park. Other people have done it, but I think he did it the best, and that's Gold Dust.
Oh yeah, I love Gold Dust, man.
But a lot of people hated him at the time. Like, they've had other, gay or LGBTQ characters. Adrian Adonis did it a long fucking time before him, but I think he really
Gold Dust. Gold Dust was everything, man, because that guy, you never knew what the hell he was gonna be. He was coming. He just come out with Al Snow all of a sudden, or like, what the? I'm gonna give some head. It's like, oh shit, what's going on, Dust? But
he was like his dad, but just in reverse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't the cool guy. He wasn't which is crazy that Dusty Rhodes ever pulled that off. But I think his gimmick is probably one of the best, solid, and he hated it. But
when you were flipping around or doing what, at that time, you kind of went back and forth with Nitro. I was a WWF fan, but like, I'd still check out what was going on in WCW and the Monday Night Wars and everything. But if Dust was on, dude, I parked, man. I wanted, because I knew there was going to be some outlandish shit that was going to come out next, man.
Like, ball gag. Who knows?
Something. his
Marlena.
promos, like, yeah, everything. That was fantastic.
But I remember there's a story about him and Roddy Piper. They had this street fight right for Piper's getting ready to go to WCW. And Vince McMahon tells them both, hey, man, don't make it too wild, whatever the case may be. And Roddy goes to him before and he says, hey, this is your shot, kid. If you're going to get over, you got to get over now. And when they're out there, he gets in that fucking limo and Roddy tells him to he's like, run me over. Don't come up and bump me. He's like, run me the fuck over. I'll take care of it. He like jumps into the windshield, ends up taking a piece, cuts himself, you know what I mean? Bloody in this back parking lot fucking fight. Goldust ends up winning. Piper leaves. And that's right when, Goldust kind of took off and started making his.
Hell yeah. That's
when he really started to get weird, I guess. But Piper was telling me, he's like, man, fucking put it on me. Don't do what the boss said. Do the opposite of what the boss said. He smacks him with that car. End up I think he broke his forearm or something. They fetish it. He ends up going to WCW. That's cool. That's, old man kind of putting in the work for him. He knew what it was going to take. You know what I mean? So that part's kind of cool.
I'd also say the Undertaker, man.
Oh, he
it
played it to a T.
The gimmick of the dead man. When I remember when he first, I was legit scared, man. Like when he first came out with the rolling back of the eyes and the pallbearer and the whole undead and dark arts, like nobody really got that dark with it. Like they were bad guys and things like that, but they weren't really like undead. And even to up to when he was done, everything was a graveyard or a buried alive or
the casket matches. Those were
right.
How he fit Yokozuna's fat ass in one of those. He could fit me. Shit. Right. I ain't fucking with him.
But he'd have the I don't know, was this the gong or what? Like that. The music and everything would go dark, and it was just like now we're in the dark scene now.
Yeah, I didn't when he did the biker thing and everything else. That was
American Badass. I wasn't American Badass Taker about it, but the early trench coat, running in everything dark. Kind of had.
I'm a big black and purple Undertaker.
Yeah.
When that urn came up, his ass sit straight up. It's like, oh shit, he means business. And for his big ass to get up and walk around them ropes like he did, he's an agile, big fucking dude.
He's going old school. Jim Ross.
He's 7 foot fucking tall up there walking around like that.
Know, right? But that to me was like a whole shift, as we talked about earlier with Gangrel, none of that shit would have flown if Undertaker wouldn't have popped and been one of the greatest stars ever been. They try to make, offshoots.
Yeah, they try, but I hate when they try, because they tried that when you both those people are right there.
I know
that doesn't work as well.
You can't do it that quickly.
I mean?
I know, but
wait till one dies or something, then try it. Moves on, finds a better job. No, but I would say fucking probably Hulk Hogan when he flips. I think that worked way better for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Than the other
that's
did.
The ultimate heel turn, right? Could there be a bigger heel turn than Hogan?
No, I don't think so.
Right. I mean, that's your ultimate vitamins.
Drink your milk.
Brother. Yeah.
Say your prayers,
exactly. I mean, that's all he did was talk to us as kids. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, love your parents, blah, blah. And now he's got a black beard but he barely has a hair on his head. He's
Spray
he
paint
has had a black
everybody.
hair on his body in like his life, but now and they got the rights to Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, how you pull that one off?
I
That had
know
to
not
cost some
many
money.
not many players got popular songs. I guess when you're Hogan, you can get like a mainstream song. It must have been, not that much, but it's got to be a little chunk, right?
I think Ted Turner dropped some coin. I don't know if
Yeah,
Hogan ends up buying it off him or what, but that is wild.
DDP, didn't DDP have or was it just one that sounded like it?
What's that? His
DDP
entrance
didn't he
music?
have didn't he have a popular song intro too?
I
I'm
don't
trying to
think
think of
so.
other ones other than Hogan.
His was more
NWO
just fucking
Hogan.
fireworks going off. That's all I remember.
Man, I thought
Pop,
DDP
pop, pop.
had. Did anybody else other than Hogan have an actual?
Well, I think
song?
like WWF makes shit with people now to get them, but back in the day, no. Macho Man comes out to like Beethoven's fucking Fifth Waltz or whatever the fuck it is, but
Oh yeah. No, I'm just saying it was
he had the oldest
unprecedented.
fucking song, I think. If we're going like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the same goes with Ric Flair. He's got the iconic. But as far as like any kind of popular rock song or any kind of anything, like is Hogan?
I think Hogan's the
only one.
Yeah.
Damn, that's impressive. That's why arguably the GOAT.
Who else would be? I mean, that's a good
The
conversation.
GOAT?
Man.
The GOAT?
Pro wrestling GOAT. But it's like, what's your criteria? It's so broad.
Mine's not a popular choice. I'm going Cactus Jack McFoley. He's my guy.
There's just strong. That's a strong case, man.
He done everything.
I was gonna say, yeah, been on top, the bottom, put everybody over
with our bodies. He's a very normal person. You know what I mean?
And that's, I bet it was probably a hell of a lot. I bet it was a hell of a lot harder to be Mick Foley than it was to be Hulk Hogan, or to be Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
the existence of Hulk Hogan as a character was a pretty gravy existence. I mean, comparatively speaking to the guys like, Mick Foley that were taking a beating just to stay relevant. In Hogan's case, 9 times out of 10, you're coming out on the winning side of these things, and the industry is propping you up. You're young, you're in great shape. I mean, it's just much easier, I think, to be Hulk Hogan.
You can sell
your Thunderlips and Rocky. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get your first movie shoot.
That hat, dude. That hat. When he was Thunderlips. I love that shit, man. But it's tough not to say Austin though, too, man. I mean,
has anybody seen the movie No Holds Barred?
Of course, dude. I saw it in the theater, man. It was
with him and Tiny Zeus Lister.
Right.
Zeus.
Oh man, I saw that in the theater.
Those are Hogan's only 2 good movies, so check both of them out.
What's the other one?
And the one he was in was Sting.
Yeah, that was like some WCW bash at the beach thing. It was weird. It was like a Baywatch offshoot. No, he does one with Sting that was like tied in with WCW. It was bad.
He should have been in Predator, man.
Instead of the body?
Not instead of. I'm not saying that. Man, you can
just
throw
with
another red.
Body?
You can throw another red coat in there, dude.
Jesse the Body. I think.
You would have been pissed. You would have been pissed if the Predator killed one more person, man. Especially if it was Hogan. Like,
already got Apollo.
you got Apollo, you got Hogan, and you got the Body in there, and Arnold. I mean, I'm not. You can't really improve on Predator, but he could have had something like that, or maybe make him one of the enemies instead of the. He could have been instead of. I work with me here. Instead of the Body in Running Man, he was the end villain in that.
I don't know which Predator I enjoy more, the brand new one or Aliens vs. Predator with the fucking pyramid in Alaska, because I get a huge boner for conspiracies. So I love
Predators.
I love the backstory of that one, but I enjoyed the new one, the Native American. That
Prey,
chick was
yeah, that
badass.
was dope.
badass.
That was dope. No, the first one, but the first Predator, man, is one of my favorite action movies of all time. But I'm saying, like, it replace the Body with Hulk Hogan in The Running Man, and I think that's a better movie.
Then Jesse the Body?
You remember The Running Man?
Yeah, kind of.
It was Arnold, and he had to go
Schwarzenegger,
through like all the different villains.
people.
It was a game show. It was hosted by Richard Dawson. Yeah, and like it. Yeah. He could have done things like that. Is what I'm saying. Like they didn't mainstream Hogan enough. Man. They gave him, the Dookie line, or like Mr.
The
Nanny.
Dookie line.
Don't you remember when he No Holds Barred when he goes in and yeah, exactly. What's that smell? And the guy's like, Dookie. Like that thing's been talked about over and over again.
You ain't seen
That's
it.
his most famous acting moment. Yeah,
I have not.
I'll forward you the link. The real ones
do it.
That was like his most famous, like on-screen moment was the Doogie line.
Hogan?
Yeah. Yes. As far as movie go, there's no other clip that is sampled and shared.
And he's got
TikTok,
Debo.
YouTube, everything is the Dookie one.
Wasn't Debo? It was that little guy that comes in that garage or whatever. That's who Hogan's squeezing or getting ready to whip his ass.
He's in a car.
Yeah, they already fucked his brother up.
Yeah.
And he catches that little guy, yeah.
And he's like, what's that smell? What's that smell? Dookie.
You gotta watch it. It's great.
It's unbelievable, man. It's almost on par with like the handicapped kid going off the cliff and Mac and me of like, what the fuck were we watching in the 80s, man?
Mac and me. Damn, that's been a long time.
So go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, nothing good. Nothing. I was just saying who are some other goats in the world of pro wrestling that we could talk about? I mean, what comes to mind for me first would be the Undertaker.
We got our pull on the take. We got the pull on the take while you were gone. I don't know where you went, but we were way in. We both agreed on black and purple.
That was the gimmick. That was the gimmick. That was the gimmick.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I would say yes. I agree. Black and purple.
Shawn Michaels could be in the GOAT conversation.
Yeah, he was really good.
Just based on like accomplishments and like I think he had back-to-back Royal Rumbles. He's held many titles. He's definitely got to be in the conversation.
Right.
He's not one of my favorites, but I mean, if you're going to talk the GOATs, he should definitely be up there. The Rock.
So wait,
obviously.
Were we ever talking GOATs, or did I just make that up?
No,
man.
That's what we've been doing. I said Mick Foley.
Oh, right on. Yes.
Yeah.
That was if I had to take one, that'd be my guy.
Right.
And I went Austin.
Yes. And
then we we spiraled off of there.
Right. But you guys got your pull on the Undertaker with the gimmick stuff. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm up to speed. All right. So goat talk then. We went McFoley, Austin. Gosh, that's tough. There's so many. Think of goats minus gimmicks.
But that's the thing, man. That's why I said Michaels. I mean, Michaels, The Rock.
Take the
Like
skirt,
those-
pal. Take the skirt.
No, I mean I don't.
Roddy
That's
Piper
one
was
thing.
really good. He was so
Sure,
good.
and he
didn't
was a
need a
good.
championship.
Well,
And you
he
gotta
was
think about that sometimes.
he was a good mix of skilled wrestler with a decent gimmick that had some longevity on it, right? Like it wasn't you could never being a Scottish guy that wears a kilt never goes out of style, right? It's not like some of those attitude era gimmicks that were sort of like in the moment that wouldn't have lasted. And and I think
You coming at my
I don't
boy
know, man.
Doink hard.
I love Roddy Piper. I just don't know if I can say he's the GOAT. I
Right.
mean, I almost think you know,
He didn't get enough push.
yeah. And I mean, this isn't like obviously we're gonna name probably 10 to 12 of these guys.
He's
not
in the
single
same vein as like a Rick Rude.
Right.
Rick Rude was really fucking good.
Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant.
Yeah, I don't know how you ever have anybody
Bruce
beat
State,
him.
yeah. I think his shelf life hurt him, but yeah, he definitely could have been. The poor guy just couldn't move after a while, man.
Well, and they talk about how much he took pride in being the guy that put some of these other guys over. You know, that's
Yeah,
some of the
yeah,
stuff he was the most proud of.
If
is
he
that could
liked
do that.
you.
And he always would ask if you want a peanut, which was always very cool.
It sounds,
No,
like, it sounds like if he didn't like you, his ass was rough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he hated the fucking Ultimate Warrior. And it sounds like the couple times they wrestled, his ass was stiff as he could be with his, you know what I mean? He'd take the finish, whatever the finish was, but he throw some fucking haymakers in there. Like, see if your ass stays awake.
landing them. Oh, a big man. I mean, arguably Undertaker, but a big man. I mean, he definitely is the best.
Oh, absolutely.
Undertaker would be the only one that could challenge it. But I mean, if you're talking like imposing big men, I mean, there's nothing more iconic than the Giant.
If we're going
Right,
big
John.
man, I'm going Bam Bam fucking Bigelow.
Well,
Love me some Bam Bam.
You're going different. I'm talking tall men, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
no Giant Gonzalez.
imposing men.
No
Bam
Giant
Bam was more-
Gonzalez in the fucking Bigfoot costume.
No
That was
great
probably the
Khali.
dumbest thing.
No great Khali. Remember that dude that could barely move?
Yeah, he's still big. in
I
India,
recognize I recognize the name, but I can't put a.
He was like 7'8" or something. It was crazy.
He was in the
It was
longest
crazy.
yard. He's the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
the caretaker goes to be like, hey man, please just play for us one time. You get to play the guards.
Gotcha.
Or even recently that Omos or whatever he is.
Yeah, he's
Like they bring in
As big as
people
a house.
just to do like one choke slam, but they can barely move. Giant had chops, man. He'd go a couple rounds, man. He wasn't just a gimmick. He wasn't just the one that, like,
Just
one
seemed
move.
larger than life, right? Not just. I mean, it sounds like not even just physically, but just the way he lived his life was larger than life. You know, you hear all the drinking stories and things like that.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, wow.
Have you seen the picture of him with like a normal beer in his hand, and it looks like like me holding a thimble? it's crazy.
yes, something similar. No,
Yeah,
but
it's ridiculous.
anybody puts down 2 fucking bottles of wild turkey ever at any setting, you fucking tell me what to do. Sounds good. That's not even feasible. I don't even.
I'm giving that guy my keys, dude. Like you're better off than me, bro.
And the crazy part was too is they talk about that match when he put Hogan over WrestleMania, and that up until like the match was happening, like Hogan was like skeptical that Andre was gonna follow through with it, that he was on board and everything else, like genuinely nervous that if he was gonna take the finish, and like we talked about a little bit ago. Vince said that, that's one of the things Andre was the most proud of his career, was doing that in that moment.
Well, when you weigh 500 pounds, I tell you if you're picking my ass up.
Oh, because he tried to body slam him once and it didn't go so well. Yeah,
not
happening.
happening.
The fact that I tell you what though, goddamn, how strong does he have to be? Like, obviously, I'm sure Andre had to give him a little assistance, maybe a little jump to help it out. But like,
right.
just the fact he was able to do that in general, holy shit! I mean, wow! I mean, just under control the way he did it was unbelievable.
Well, if you believe, what they list Thunderlips in Rocky 3, I think they list him as like 6'7", like 300 pounds, 3 something. Like, it's crazy, dude.
28-inch pythons.
Hulk wasn't like really like that little either, man.
No,
he was a big motherfucker, man.
Right.
But no.
But
tossing,
I mean, that thing is even
tossing that dude around. It's not like tossing around like a barbell. That's like a massive body weight. Like,
right.
let me give you a big ass trash bag full of 550 pounds of weight. Move that shit out to your curb. Like, fuck off, man. Like, no. Yeah.
Who pulled off that singlet better, Andre the Giant or Danny DeVito?
DeVito, 100%. The trash man.
Yeah, the trash man. Birds of War.
Oh, that's the best.
I caught a gift the other day of him coming out of the leather couch.
That's my favorite. Yes. You know how hot it is in there?
It went out, it went back in because it was like almost like a boomerang, dude. It was hilarious. But yeah, that's the password is orgy.
Or the one when he's an extra on that TV show or whatever, and he's got the sausage links in his pocket.
I love that little dude, man.
My favorite clip of all time is
pushing 80.
When they find Cricket in the alley and they're fucking trying to ask him a question. The first thing out of Cricket's mouth is, if you're going to finish up inside me, it's going to cost you a whole sixer. And you see, it just cuts back to them coming back with a 6-pack, and they finish the conversation with them. Later on, he's drinking a beer. It's like, oh, fuck. Poor Cricket. They did him dirty.
They did. They turned him quick.
Priest.
When they realized that it was like tracking. Like, they turned him so quick. Danny DeVito is 78 years old, man.
Jesus.
One thing is cool. He's still him and his old lady been together forever, still banging the same old lady.
Yeah. But like, that dude always just seems like he's been that age. Like, I look at him and I feel like he looks the same as like when I saw him in Twins. Buy me a Coke. I was trying to think of a more obscure one. But yeah, that's, I feel like he's always had the same hairline, the same stature, gained no less, lost no less poundage. Like, I mean, he's one of those guys that's been ageless, and he's pushing 80, rocking it, still funny as hell.
So if you would like to reach the president of the Danny DeVito fan club,
yeah, PAIGNPRO. On all of your favorite social media.
That show would have went half as long without Uncle Frank.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean,
It
it's,
brought
it's such a great fucking show, just in general. Great fucking show.
I feel
it
bad.
brought
I've been out of it a while. I feel so bad about it.
Maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow. I'm just gonna lay on the couch and watch reruns
Always
of It's
Sunny.
Always Sunny.
he brought like you know, legitimacy to it. And if it stages, or like, oh, you know, this show's kind of weird and quirky, but it's like, oh, Danny DeVito's in it. Maybe there's something to it, and then it kind of it took off, because
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
that's a great point.
funny. It was funny, but then like that kind of, you know, FX at the time was not really anything. Not anybody in it was anything, but like
I thought
Yeah.
Nip Tuck was the shit. I love Nip
I
Tuck.
did too. I did too.
Fuck, I was way into that goddamn show.
I have the DVDs still.
This motherfucker has DVDs.
Amber, wasn't that her name?
Love a hard copy.
Oh no, I'm all about hard media, dude. I have a boombox. I have a stacks and stacks. You know what's really easy to acquire on a very simple amount of cash? Cassette tapes.
Stacks and stacks of hot wax.
Yeah.
Cassette tapes, dude. Cassette tapes. The pandemic got me into that shit. What I did is I bought 2 boombox. I found one at a garage sale. I found one on eBay. I was tired of charging shit on cables. I'm done with that. I need them. I got C and D batteries and grabbed some cassette tapes, and we went and started playing wiffle ball, home run derby at like little league fields, because everybody, you know, pandemic is like, we all got to be outside now, we all got to be distance or whatever. It's like, fuck it. So I started buying boom boxes, and because I don't want to connect or make sure my phone's charged or my Spotify play. I'm just over that shit, man. Maybe it's because I'm old.
So are you rewinding those Bushwhack Bill tapes with a pen still? Like when they get all stretched out, you gotta reel them back in.
Nah, man, I got boom boxes, dude. I got a full rewind on there, man. I'm stocked up on C&Ds, and now like I've been making trades with people here locally. Like I'll give you this for that. Like I've got about 200 audio cassettes on top of all my DVDs and all that shit. I love hard media, dude. I love
what
hard
up on
media.
that Earth, Wind, and Fire? You got one? Let me know. After the
show. Look. I might. I got a whole R&B, because like also some of the cool things is like when you trade or buy the collection, they'll give you the case that it comes in. Like if they're smart, they would keep the case, man, but they don't. They give you it all. They give it everything. So I have like all these like intricate, like leather bound or faux leather, pleather, whatever the hell you want to call it, like cases that are like you can flip over and the buckle's on one side and you flip it over and it's on the other and it holds like 50 on each. Like, yeah.
So you talk about hard media, man. Like, so
I love that shit. I love hard media, dude. I don't trust it.
Yeah. So my uncle, I had an uncle who was just fucking diehard, like Alice Cooper, Black Oak, Arkansas, like fucking just old school rock. And he was like back in the day, he grew up on, cassettes and all that shit. But I remember that once CDs came out, it was like if it came out on a CD, he would copy it to a cassette. Now he had 2 fucking copies. If he got a bootleg video from the local record store and he would dub it over to another video, he would record the audio onto a CD, record the audio onto a fucking cassette. I mean, it was like he was terrified. He was just duplicating like all of his media. Just nonstop, because it was like he thought he was at risk of losing some of it. Well, it's like if I lose these 3 versions, I still have this version of School's Out for the fucking Summer. Like, and I mean, just nonstop. And I remember I actually kind of introduced him to, because I mean, he lived on the other side of the law for most of his life. He spent, I think he did 4 or 5 stints in state prison. He was an alcoholic. He would just get himself mixed up in he would cash checks or, deposit a check in the ATM for $500, withdraw 500 cash, and it be, fictitious. So just goofy shit like that. Like, so, but he was like, he just loved music and all the things he did, related to it. And like I said, just dubbing this over this over this over this over this, and it was just unbelievable. Like, and he was the type of guy that if you mentioned to him, like if you were around him one time, and he'd bring something up, and you're like, he'd try to be relatable. You're like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of Billy Squire, like that. Yeah, yeah, cool, man. Like, and the next thing you know, like Christmas rolls around. Guess what? I got coming. Like Billy Squire's whole
Right.
collection, like everything.
Everything.
Hey, you're a Billy
Everything.
Squire fan. Like, here you go. I mean, it's like he just like grab that up and be like, yeah, I know what I'm doing.
But
Billy
I think
Squire.
there's something to it for being old school. I don't feel comfortable not owning my shit. Like, everybody that yes, I get it, and I do have subscriptions to streamable stuff for, because it's simple, and I got my Sonos all set up, and I can say like play this and that and the other thing, and it's nice. But like, I don't know, it still makes me uneasy. It's like maybe I don't, or maybe you lose your job, and Sonos, and that subscription needs to go. Now I don't have music or whatever. I'm gonna always. I like the hard media, and there's sometimes when I can't find certain stuff, or I have certain shows ripped from. I have personal CDs or
Right.
or DVDs, of shows that people have been to, and a guy knows a guy that caught like the first Childish Gambino, and like ripped it on DVD or on, I'm like, okay. So I just can't let it go. And much to my wife's chagrin, I've got like this whole shrine to like archaic media. And I'm like,
well, you know what though?
Yeah.
Think about this. Like, let's say, you see these series like, The Walking Dead and things like that. So like, boom, snap your fingers. You live in a world, zombie apocalypse, whatever. So like, there's no fucking internet anymore or anything else. But wouldn't it be a great feeling to have in a time of such uncertainty to be able to, you know what? Like, if I can find a boombox, some fucking batteries, and my cassette tapes, like for at least at least a moment, man, like I can escape from this. I have a connection. I have a connection to life before this, and like you're never gonna be able to connect to fucking your Spotify account when that happens, but you might be able to find some batteries in a boombox.
We talking about the end of the world?
Yeah, end of the world.
Yeah.
Would you rather?
What song you playing? What song are you playing? End of the world.
Like the last song, like this one I'm going out to, like
Swan
there's
song.
a nuclear warhead about to blow us
out
out
of
of
some
our...
D batteries in a boom box. What cassette tape you throwing in there?
Well, you said boombox. Do I get John Cusack or not?
Yeah,
you got to Cusack it. If the missiles are coming in, you got to greet them properly.
You're dancing. You're really into
in your eyes. I am complete.
Thousand churches.
Wow. It's like that question in Johnny Cash, right? You come here to sing that same old "Gonna Save Me" song. He's like, if the last song you had to sing when you're about to meet your maker, and that's the song you'd play, and
that's what I'm saying. What song do you want to hear?
Oh boy, I must think about that for a minute.
We were talking about media and like other things. The first thing that came to my head, which is not my answer, but it was about like if things disappeared, and I don't know, movies, music, everything, but Slow Ride came to my head because of
yeah.
the Days of Confused
Yeah.
soundtrack. But that's not my answer. But like, if we're going like if we were in like a trivia contest or like first thing that came off your head, that would be that. If I had again a couple minutes to decide, I would choose Lovely Day by Bill Withers, dude.
Oh, that's a fucking winner, bud. I love
That
that
would be my
song.
one. And I look at you,
It
and
is,
the
man.
world's all right with me.
That's one of those
But
songs. It's like if you're having a fucking weird day, and it's like, hey, I just need something to like, you know, bring me home a
it
little
does.
bit.
It does, man. It always puts me in that spot. And I used to sing it to my kids at nighttime horribly and not holding the same notes the way my man Bill could
Yeah.
do.
It's one of
And
those. You
yeah,
think it's like you feel like the sun's shining on you,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
when,
yeah, yeah. It makes you feel good. So I feel if I know the missiles are coming, I'm gonna go out feeling warm on the inside. So that's where I'm
oh
at.
hell yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so I'm gonna say, um, if it's one of those songs that you're like, okay, this song's gonna be just maybe to put you at peace, give you some, uh, I don't know, some solace in your last few moments, or even just to reflect fondly on what's happened. I would choose my boy James Taylor, man, Fire and Rain.
Mm,
Uh,
nice,
it's a
nice.
fucking winner, man. And there's just multiple things I can relate to it, and I think it's awesome.
That's wonderful. That's fantastic, dude. That was another staple with my kids, dude. Especially because both of their middle names are both James. Because I just did that. Gave them both the same middle name. So Sweet Baby James was like in entry mode because I wasn't really that familiar with the works of Taylor. And yeah, Fire and Rain would be a fucking banger to go out on.
Hell yeah, man! It's a
Nice.
good
I
song.
love it. I love it.
All right, Hack man, what you got?
Nate Dogg and Warren G. Regulate.
I
Mount
figured
up.
it was that or Porn Star Dancing. I didn't know which one
Don't
you were gonna go with.
Give Me Back My Bullets by Leonard Skinner would probably be my second. I drink enough
Nice.
whiskey to float a battleship around. But when Charlie, in the beginning of Regulate, Charlie's listening off.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to be mean with the steel. No geek
You
off
know
the
what I mean?
streets. Fuck.
Earn your
You know
keep.
what's coming.
No, that's good. That is a good one.
That song makes me happy. Anytime I hear that,
Hell yeah.
every time I hear that, Menace to Society, that's all I can think about. That blue powder coat, fucking 5.0 come rolling through. Oh, I love that movie too. That's my Boys in the Hood. Is Menace to Society. I love
Oh
that
man,
movie.
shit, dude. I've seen that movie a jillion times.
What about like Low
Double
Rider
burger with cheese.
on the way out? You know what I mean? They're like, all right, boys, like Putin's done it. He's pushed the button, and then it's just like I just envision Nicolas
Low
Cage in his leather
Ride.
jacket. Low Rider Donnie. Low Rider. And then just fires up.
The funny part is like the younger kids are just putting together the fact that that's from Young Guns in the regulators. Like I've seen some TikToks on it, like that they cracked the code.
Go watch Young Guns, guys.
It's like
Poor Charlie, he ain't even had a piece of ass at the time. He's telling everybody how to lay down the law.
And Nate Dogg, I will say, there are a lot of people on my social media feed. It doesn't matter any celebrity death that happens. Doesn't matter who the hell it is. It could be the second kid on 8 is Enough or whatever. Oh man, this is a tough one. Or hard to see you go. Respect to the family. I've never been that guy on social media, like ever. I'm like, these people, yeah, I like their art, but I'm not connected to them. I don't really know them. But like Nate Dogg and Prince were like one of the only two like where I was like, okay, this one hits a little bit, man. I don't know.
Yeah, shit, we lost something.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Nate Dogg for like, nobody would have seen it coming. But when I heard like Nate Dogg, really? Nate Dogg? Like, not Nate Dogg. No, man. Like I didn't expect it, but it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like he was on every track of my my high school career. Every track.
Well, I think one thing like musically is that you can put on paper what a person's doing. Like okay, that's a this note, that's a that note, but like you can't duplicate it. You know what I mean? Like you may know how it looks on paper to go through a musical progression, whatever, this note, that note, that note, but like to execute it is a completely different story. And that's what separates some of these people. And that's why like when someone like Prince, passes away, it's like, we've lost like, yeah, we can play his records, we can try, but you can't, there's no duplicating like his unique stamp that he puts on that stuff. Right.
Exactly.
And like that's I think what's interesting when it comes to like artists or even athletes in some way, it's like, okay, well, yeah, sure, any of us can go out and shoot a basket, but we're not Bill Russell, like
Exactly.
and it's just like it's like one of those things. Like, have you ever seen? And I know Hacker has. Do you ever seen the movie Vision Quest?
Of course.
Okay, so
I'm gonna wrestle shoot. I'm gonna wrestle
yeah,
shoot.
yeah. So when
I'm going down the
waiter
wrestle shoot.
or the guy that comes to watch him wrestle
Matthew
and gives him the
Modine.
whole but when he's working at the hotel and the guy's like it's not the 6 minutes, it's what happens in the 6 minutes, that whole speech, and and he goes on about how he watched on TV and he watched Pele do a bicycle kick and he started to cry because he's like, that person, a part of the same species that I am, was able to do something like that. And that's what I think when you see some of these extraordinary athletes, you're like, wow, like that's a human being doing that. And when you lose that, it's like there's no, anybody can shoot a basket, but you can't do it like that guy. Anybody can, hit X amount of, I can go out in the backyard and I might hit a home run, but like, can you do it like Ruth? Can you do, some of these timeless people? It's like you lose, something dies with them, I guess is what I'm saying.
I got
feel that.
2 other end of the world songs. They're both sad as fuck. Eric Clapton, Tears in Heaven.
Oh.
Jesus.
And fucking Stevie Ray Vaughan, Living Life by the Drop.
Jesus, man.
2 beautiful songs. I mean, but depends on where you want to be.
You want to hear, right? That's the last thing you want.
The Tears in Heaven one, I don't know. That's a great song. Life by the Drop. I can get down with that.
Once you know what it's about, dude. Like I have a hard time hearing it ever, dude. I don't know if I want to hear it.
It's so good. It's from a probably the best place he's ever. Music comes from. Sadness, sorrow.
Of course,
probably the best place he's ever had to create music from.
I think part of it also is like I'd like it to be connected to my family as we're all prepping for this. Where it's like, if I hear that song, I'm thinking about him losing his son, and I'm like, nah, I'm trying to focus on my own shit. I'm gonna be extra selfish here in my last.
I'm gonna tell you one of the worst parts in a movie ever, because this song kind of ties in what you're saying. Paul, you remember that movie, The Road?
I knew that's exactly what you're going to say.
Viggo Mortensen's sitting there and he knows them cannibals are coming. He's got 1 bullet left in his gun. And all he's thinking about is shooting his son. It's like, I'm not going to let him fucking eat him. And it's like, oh my God.
Right.
And now that's thinking about it. Fuck gives me chills.
Scene. Yeah. That's
I haven't watched it since, but it's like, fuck, he's getting ready to put one in that kid's head.
I'm gonna do the Mist on him. Did you guys ever see The Mist?
No.
The Mist?
Stephen King?
The movie. The
Mist.
Mist.
No, I did not.
Okay, then I won't spoil it.
No, well, spoil it. I'm not watching it.
Pubtime's all about spoilers. Bring it in.
The Mist was a horror movie about like literally a mist, like a huge fog that came through. and they were all these like unseen crazy ass monsters in there. So like if you went out in the mist, you're done for. And everybody holed up into a store like they always do in these like end of world days, and everybody's going around and garden family, this and that. They escaped it. They got in this car, they get to the end of the rope. They only have so many bullets. It's like literally the situation you're talking about. The patriarch of the family, as like all the evilness is descending upon him. He kills the 3 people in the car with him. And at that point, like the government shows up and waylays like everything and like saves him. So it's like if you'd have waited 5 more minutes, bro, everybody in your car would have been fine.
You'd have been a hero.
Everybody would have been alive, and like it's one of the it is a Stephen King shit, like borderline Shyamalan, but like it's one of those things where it's like it's gripping, like they're down to, like when you watch it the first time. That's why I feel bad for spoiling it, man. Like they get out of there and they're on their way, and like everybody's going out,
they're gonna
and
make
it's descending on them. And they're making that decision, and it's just like, oh shit, man, what are they gonna do? And like, nah, he takes it upon himself to make sure they don't get like misted. And then all of a sudden, like 2 minutes later, it's like bombs and like the mist clears and like all these animals are dropping and like, you all right? Get out of here. And like he's in the car with his dead family that he just executed. It's fucked up.
Yeah, that is fucked up. Really fucked up. Awesome.
What do you think,
that,
Carl?
Put that on your Christmas list next year, fellas.
Yeah.
What Queen song are you listening to at the end of the world, Brad?
No, I already said, man. Like Fire and Rain, man. It's
No, Queen.
my choice, but
Give me a Freddie
Queen.
Mercury.
If I had to pick a Queen song,
One Freddie Mercury song for everybody. We're all taking one.
We Are the Champions. I mean, if it's at the, I don't know. I mean, like now that's not.
No,
that's not a.
Is that what you want?
There's
I mean,
nothing wrong.
It's tough. It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
Fuck
I'm just
'em.
saying, like,
Take
no.
it.
No, but I'm saying that, like, it's kind of tough. Like, do you want some sort of a song that maybe has a deeper meaning, or do you just want like something that makes you
What
fucking
do you want?
feel like
What
a
do you
fucking
want?
winner at the end? I think as cliche as it might be, man. Like, and I usually like to dig deeper than this, but I'm telling you, I just think I'm going to take We Are the Champions. If you're leaving
I like
me with
it. I
Queen.
like it. I like it, dude. You're stomping. Yeah. You're stomping. Like,
let's
fucking
go.
Bring it, dude.
Let's go with it.
What you got?
I mean, I think it would be appropriate to say Another One Bites the Dust, but I would. I'm choosing Somebody to Love. That's mine.
That's good. I think that's a fucking doozy.
I'm going Fat Bottom Girl.
I was gonna say Fat Bottom. I could have fucking saw that coming from a mile away.
I'm just hoping I'm in the right spot to find one. Just before it happens. It'd be like Pompeii. Got to get one last one in. I bet I beat it.
But I mean, imagine if there was like continuous bombs dropping and you had Another One Bites the Dust. Another one. I'd feel guilty about it. I'd feel guilty about
bites the dust. Yeah.
So I'd have to do something a little bit more poignant. And another one goes, and another one. I'm like, oh shit. Hey, they're gonna get you too. Oh shit.
Fuck.
That might be a little too on the nose.
No shit. Absolutely.
I'm gonna take a quick one real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
What do you think, Paul? What are you doing over there?
I don't know. I mean, right, wrap this thing up and BS for a little bit or whatever. I mean, I don't mind hanging out, but Probably not too far from calling it. But you probably squashed the live.
What do you mean? Squash
Yeah,
it.
it's might as well. I was here in BS. I mean, I don't think this is
Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Everybody in the club. We didn't even fuck nobody.
Everybody in the club.
I don't
We ain't
think this
fucking
is.
nobody.
I don't think this is worth. Not because of
Everybody
anything
in
we've
the
done
club
or not
getting
done, but
tipsy.
I don't know that.
You didn't even tell them about our Patreon
Everybody
yet.
in the club getting tipsy.
Which tier?
Which one do you want?
Dude, it's so weird.
I won't
Where you at?
deny it.
You gotta
I'm
come
a
drink
straight
some of this.
rider. You don't wanna fuck with me.
Who we fucking? One professional wrestler. You get to fuck one person before.
Oh,
Good. One
goodness.
person.
Very nice.
Hate him forever.
One person, hate him forever.
That's what we talked about all night. So fuck. You get one guy.
We need a second. Oh.
Who's someone now still that you're just like, ugh, fuck that guy.
Oh. I felt like that about that strongly. That's tough, man.
I thought you had one, at least one.
Ugh. That's insanely difficult. You know what? Just to shove it right back in your face. Fuck you, Jimmy Hart.
Good night, everybody.